Hi. So I am sitting home alone and I haven't done a video in like a week. So I wanted to, well, obviously drink, so haha. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys where I'm from and what went on in my life before I became the person that I am today. So I'm originally from a very small town in northeast Missouri. It's a good place to grow up. You learn a lot of good morals. You're taught the proper things by your family, but it's also a place that isn't very open when it comes to things such as people that are different, people that are like myself and gay. So it was a struggle for a long time, but I think I came out of it a stronger person. But yeah, I moved to the town that I grew up mostly in. Sorry, the dogs are going crazy. I grew up mostly in when I was, I think, 5 or 6. And so I was the new kid, and I wasn't treated very nicely by pretty much anyone that I came into contact with. There were a few choice people that I really considered friends, and they were there for me when I needed them, but for the most part, I had a terrible, time in elementary and junior high and high school. It was all really kind of terrible because I was made fun of constantly. Stop. Quit. I was made fun of constantly and called names, and at that time in my life I was shy and just didn't really say much back to them, and bullied, not really physically, but bullied mentally, and it was hard, and especially considering I didn't even know myself that I was gay until after I graduated from high school. But once I graduated from high school and I realized what was going on with myself, and I had to come to terms with that myself, which was hard enough, and then I had to tell my family at some point, in which I love them dearly. I love my family pretty much more than anything in the world, but there for a long time I didn't think that we were going to get past the fact that I was gay, and I was okay with it, and they were not. So once we got past that, it took several years and lots of fighting, and me not really communicating with my family, trying to stay away from them as much as possible because I just didn't want to fight. And then it finally got to a point where I could talk about things, especially with my mother. My father, I mean, I know it's rough for him because I have a brother, but I was always the one that I guess he wanted to go hunting with or something, I don't know. Just the fact that I wasn't the everything that he wanted in a son. I was very different, very into music, and he was very into hunting, and I still am not into hunting, but he can do what he wants. It's his life, he can have his own hobbies. But it took a long time for us to get to that point, and once we finally did, it felt like I could really be myself again in front of my family, in front of everyone back home, instead of trying to hide who I was when I was back home, and then being whoever I wanted to be when I was where I was living and going to college. But we had some fights, some bad fights, some screaming, some yelling, some almost hitting. But we've gotten to a point now where my mother actually said to me, I don't know why people think that it's a choice, which if you knew how we fought and what we fought about back in the day, that I never thought that she would ever say that. And when she said that, it really, I never told her that it made me cry, but it did. And it made me think, you know, that she was finally starting to understand that I had this is something I had no control over. And so I started to have a deeper relationship with my mother, and I still, whenever I'm back there, she's the one person that I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see her. I mean, I love all of my family, my dad, my brother, my grandparents, everyone, but my mother is always the one that's closest to me. I've been closest to her because we are very similar in the way that we think. We're very similar in the way that we interact with people. And our emotions are about the same. So we get along very well now. I talk to her about everything. She talks to me all the time about all the stuff that's going on in her life. And yeah, so now that I came out, I went through all of the struggles that I had, and it got, everything's like 100% better. I have moved to California. I have made friends. There's still going to be those ignorant people in the world that don't accept you for who you are, for something you can't control, but there's always going to be that, and I'm not mad about it. I mean, they were raised a certain way, just like I was raised a certain way. And it's hard to overcome that, especially if you are raised in an extremely religious family. Not saying that religious people can't, understand the situation. It's just most of the people that are extremely religious in my life don't really care for my lifestyle and the things that I've done. But it's been a good life so far, and I'm excited to see what comes later on down the road, especially with my 30th birthday coming up in December, which it's crazy to think that I'm gonna be 30, but I'm getting excited, but I guess also I'm dreading it, and everyone around me will attest to the fact that I am dreading being 30, but hopefully it's going to be amazing, and I am looking forward to the future and seeing what life has to hold for me. But yeah, so I just wanted to sit down and tell you guys that everything gets better eventually, no matter what you're going through at the time. It will get better eventually. It may take a short amount of time, it may take a long amount of time, but just don't give up, because there are the situations that do make you want to make all of the pain stop. Believe me, I've been there. But you just have to think about the people in your life that care about you, and the people in your life that love you and would never want to see anything bad happen to you. So this turned into a lot sadder of a video than I expected, but I mean, I hope somebody gets some advice out of this. But I will see you guys soon, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Love ya. Bye.